Sawmillers across the state are still reeling from last week's high-profile forests deal, with a statement of principles pledging to eventually end all large-scale native forest logging. It brings their long-term viability into question. For one family-run country mill, there's disbelief and uncertainty. Demand for their products might be growing every day, but they've put expansion plans on hold, unsure about their native timber supply. Fiona Breen visited the Watsons at the Huon Valley timber sawmill this week. The family have been sawmilling for 120 years. Now they're scrambling to make sense of a deal their own industry signed off on.
As they say in the timber industry, the Watsons of Glen Huon have sawdust in their blood. They've been involved in the timber industry since the 1890s. The current generation, Rick Watson and his 3 sons, operate the Huon Valley Timber Mill, one of the state's many family-run sawmills. 7,500 cubic metres of native regrowth logs are sawn in the mill each year.
I would think we're probably one of the more efficient sawmills around, particularly in Tasmania. We utilise everything we can. We cut right down to, a 25mm by 25mm garden stake. We cut garden sleepers. We cut quite a few products, low-grade products for packaging, around different stuff that gets shipped. We try to recover everything that can be recovered, we recover.
The mill's biggest client is a timber mouldings company, which supplies hardware stores across the country with products like architrave, door moulds, skirting boards and dowel. 90% of these high-quality mouldings are native Tasmanian hardwood, sawn by the Watsons of Glen Huon.
Our Tasmanian oak sawn timber demand is increasing. Our local customers here in Tasmania, national customers throughout Australia and even overseas, they're demanding, they want more of it. They like it. It's very friendly and usable to what they do, and they want more of it.
Demand is so strong, the family's working at maximum capacity. The production line is humming and everyone is busy.
At the moment, we're pretty in a position where we need to make a decision to either get bigger or think about getting out. The industry is such that to stay as we are, we can't meet our customers' needs.
Last week's historic forest deal has put a question mark over the family's $1 million expansion plans. They're bewildered by what forest industry representatives appear to have agreed to. The signatures on the Statement of Principles sign away not only access to old growth, but it also commits to getting out of all public native forests, where the Watsons get all their timber.
Because if they lock up some of the areas that they're talking about wanting to lock up, it's where some of our best saw logs come from, like Bruny Island and the Weld Valley and the Picton Valley. Those areas produce really good saw logs, quality, mature saw logs, even in our regrowth, some of our bigger regrowth saw logs.
The ink is barely dry on the deal, but the Watsons say it's already affecting their supplying contractors. Forestry Tasmania has asked 5 of them to move out of their coops and onto others within 3 weeks. In a letter, the government business commits to asking the state government for $5,000 for each contractor, the estimated costs of the move. The Watsons are confused about what the changes will mean for them.
So the Sawmillers Association were involved in these roundtable talks. Did you feel represented?
No, because we didn't even know anything about it. We weren't told. We had no inclination of what was going on in those meetings until just in the last few days. So we haven't really had a chance to get our heads around what's happened in those meetings. It was all very secretive and hush-hush.
It's the pledge to eventually end all large-scale native forest logging that really worries the Watsons.
We're busy, we're always busy. We've got plenty of work on and our markets are expanding. So if our resource was left alone and we were able to keep going as we've been going, then it's a very bright future. And for my children, my grandchildren. And so we just need to be left alone.
The family are not reassured by the large tracts of eucalyptus nighton trees that make up the majority of the state's plantations. They say they're no good for high-value sawn products.
It's too soft, it's too pliable, it's got too many knots in it. The builders who tried the eco ash that was being produced up the Tamar, hardly any of the builders want to use it now because it's just not a good timber to use. With the guarantees and that you've got to put on the timber that you produce, you need to be producing it out of a good quality log, not out of an inferior log.
The family's nervous about just where they'll get their wood from. The Forestry Industries Association has said publicly it could take up to 30 years to establish a whole new plantation estate. But the Watsons say it would take a lot longer.
We cut trees anywhere from 50 years old to 120 years old, which is classified as regrowth. So we need at least 50 years to get the smaller end of our saw log. If we want larger saw logs, then we need 60 to 100 years to grow.
The Watsons are so concerned they're prepared to get political.
Personally, I'd like to be able to do that, yes, and make sure that our voice is heard. It's something that I think is important for us as a business, and particularly as a family, to be involved a little bit more.
Regardless of how long it will take, for the Watsons, the future looks uncertain.
We'll be pushing ahead with our business plans. We'll certainly continue with our plans to expand right up to the point where it starts costing money. So we'll keep planning. We're not willing to commit money until we know we've got long-term security, but we'll keep on making our plans and moving forward.